welcome back, everybody, to the Weightlifting House podcast. So, Max, you came down to the UK, across to the UK, and so we thought, podcasts have dropped off my radar a bit, it has to be said, over the last few months. But whilst you're here at Weightlifting House HQ, we're set up right now in the Weightlifting House gym. It's a little messy, but we thought, why not record a few pods?
Well, it's an active gym. It's a usable gym.
It is.
Right? It's being trained in.
And since you last came here, we've got the pull-up bar. We've got the dip station, which I don't know if you can tell, but it's far too wide to actually do dips on.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I can't do it. We've got the 45-degree hip extension. We've got the adjustable dumbbells.
Yeah, you got the bench too.
We've got the bench. It's turned into a bit of a bodybuilding / weightlifting gym.
Yeah, the company...
It does the trick.
Is the company morphing now? Is it going to become more of
no.
House of bodybuilding?
Well, now that we've added the bodybuilding focus.
Oh, that's true.
WEIGHTLIFTIng.ai, I thought, how can I run the program if I don't have the bodybuilding set up? That's not really what I thought, but it does kind of work quite nicely.
Yeah.
So we just got done with one of the weightlifting AI training camps.
Yeah.
We did one of it. Well, I wasn't there. You did one in the USA back at the end of 2023, which went well. And then we thought we need to do one here. And we've just been so busy. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I saw you. Well, we've seen each other a lot recently, really, because we've had all the different competitions. We've been in Bulgaria together. We've been in Thailand together.
Yes.
And then we're here together.
Well, I think the camp was either right before or right after Worlds.
It was after Worlds.
Oh, yeah. Worlds was September. Mm-hmm. Then we had the camp.
Then I went to Doha.
Yeah, you went to Doha.
Then Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I don't know how
Bulgaria.
I don't know how you survived that. You went from Saudi Arabia, which I think any normal person is going to need 6 months to decompress from that.
Yeah, or at least cool down.
Yeah, cool down.
Yeah.
So Saudi Arabia in September, then you're in Doha in December, then Tashkent, and immediately from Tashkent to Bulgaria.
Right.
Which, I don't know, that may be more of a lateral move there. I don't think it was like a big upgrade. And then we're both in Bulgaria. We leave Bulgaria, and it felt like...
It was a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it didn't even feel like that. It felt like a week and a half, and then we're back in Thailand.
You sort of... I find I get back, I deal with any jet lag I might have, which I'm actually pretty quick at that. I can deal with jet lag within a day, basically. And then you just have enough time to get all of the storage with all of the content onto some other storage, and then you leave. And then you fill up all of the SD cards or hard drives again, and then you get back, and then you take it all off. That takes like 2 weeks, and then you go away again. And you have enough time to tell Tristan to make a competition poster, get a few cool videos done, and then that's it. And then you go. How
much space are you? How many files are you bringing back? Like, what's the total storage size? From one competition.
It's probably because we duplicate everything. While we're out there, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
So while we're out there every night, we're duplicating. We're probably filling up total about a good 10 terabytes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I probably
per
have
competition.
Per competition. I have 4. Tristan has 4, and then the actual competition, the stuff that Dan is live streaming, we back that up, and that's probably about 2 terabytes.
I mean, in an Olympic quad, you might end up with 1 petabyte of video footage.
What's that?
1,000 terabytes.
Oh, I don't know about that, because that would be 120 competitions at 8 terabytes of competition.
I guess, that's true.
Yeah, but we could do 100 terabytes.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely possible.
Footage gets bigger, though. Yeah. If you start filming, do you film everything 4K? Mm-hmm. So if you started, maybe in a year or two, there's some kind of upgrade for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, and now also we've got Nate, obviously from Suckler Studios, and he came over to the World Cup with us to start filming some documentaries, which will be coming out soon. Like the first one, the Hampton Morris one, which, if you've seen the title of it, you will be pleased to know that Max had a hand in that.
Oh, was it?
I don't know which one we've gone for yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's possible that because we voted on it, we had excited. 3 options. What did we go for? We had
Hamp the Maniac, Psycho Killer.
No, we had Historic Hamp.
Yeah.
Planning to Win,
Yeah.
And which had very skewed feelings. It was either loved or hated.
Yeah.
I loved it. You did not.
I didn't think so.
It might be that.
It felt a bit too. You thought
it was a bit too sort of corporate.
Yeah.
You fly someone in to talk to the team about how to improve your accounting to be a winner in the workplace.
It's the title of some kind of YouTube video,
right?
But it doesn't feel like a weightlifting documentary video.
Okay, understand. And then the third one, which I think is the winner right now, was the USA's Golden Boy, which originally was Golden Kid, and then you suggested we change it to Boy.
Yeah.
Because maybe that is the phrase. I don't know. I was thinking more like Billy the Kid.
Oh, right.
It's not Billy the Boy.
Billy the Boy.
Although there were the Billy Boys, which is a group of Scottish gangs in the early 20th century.
That's a bit obscure, I think, for the U.S. audience.
Unless they've watched Peaky Blinders, and they'll know about the Billy Boys.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it fits. I don't know if it fits Hamp's demeanor so much.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But yeah, we've got all those documentaries. So when you include that stuff, but speaking of Peaky Blinders, this will take us back to the training camp.
Yeah.
We were in Birmingham.
Yeah.
For the training camp, so we decided let's have one, and in I don't know if it's classic us fashion, but we decided for the AI camp, let's not tell anybody about this until less than 2 weeks away from when we plan on doing it.
Yeah, it was a very short notice. Yeah. Well, we had planned on doing it.
A lot of people probably don't even know about it.
Yeah, it was a secret camp. It was
basically a secret camp. Yeah,
an underground thing.
But we had, it was kind of amazing because we booked out this great gym, MSC, that I've trained out a bunch of times, and I did a seminar with Glenn there back in the day, years ago, Glenn Pendlay. I filmed Team
India, right?
India there, yeah. It's a great gym, but we didn't really know what to expect. I didn't even know how many people were coming.
I was a bit nervous that I would end up leaving, flying here, and there'd be 3 people.
Yeah.
And I would be one of them.
And I'm the other. And then there's Dan. So we just had no idea.
Yeah.
And we came to the gym, and the first person had flown in from Brussels.
Yeah.
The next person was from
Italy.
Then there was a guy who might have flown in from Poland, but he was a Polish powerlifter who's now transitioned to weightlifting, which was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was, well, we had a couple guys from Scotland, although one of them lived in London, and then it was all around the UK. So, but the fact that we had a bunch of people fly in, the first thing I'd walked into the gym, I saw you stood there, I came over to you with my coffee, and you said these guys have flown in from around the world, and I just felt a wave of pressure.
Yeah, really?
Because I thought, okay, if everyone's just come in from around Birmingham, then this is gonna, they're gonna have fun whatever happens.
Yeah.
But when someone has caught a flight,
there's
pressure to make it good, especially because I knew that part of the training camp, as well as the fun training that we did, was a tour / Q&A at Weightlifting House.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
I got to make it. I'm here every day, and so is everyone else at Weightlifting House. We come in and we work every day. So to me, this is just work.
Yeah.
And I remember when you first came 2 years ago, and I was so scared.
Oh, really?
I was so scared. When you said, because it was basically the reason you came was we're going to release Weightlifting.ai.
Yeah.
And we need to spend some time just hanging out and getting some stuff done. And you said, can we come and work at Weightlifting House for a couple of weeks? And I remember going back to Charlotte and just saying, Max Aita's coming. And he's going to see Weightlifting House and he's going to realize, oh, these aren't the people we should be working with.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
I thought that you were going to have come from this place where, there were all these corporate offices and there were teams of media and teams of this and that. And then I think it turned out to be kind of the opposite. Like you came here and you're like, this is...
It was organized, yeah.
This is a system. You've got people in job roles here.
I think my experience now, having done a lot of different things and being involved in different sides of business and just being in I guess you call it the startup world because these are all startups, but it makes me look at things like you watch a presentation from Apple and you're like, wow, they just nailed it. But then you just have to know that maybe some of those slides were made the day before. Yeah, and there's people running around with their heads chickens with their heads cut off, just trying to get everything done. I don't know if that's the case, but I do believe there's a degree of everyone's probably thinking everyone else is more organized and doing things better. And then you're just like trying to scramble to do it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like when I came in though, I remember like thinking, oh wow, they've got like a whole like thing set up here, like in this gym behind where we're at, like, you know, you've got shelves with inventory and it's tracked and it's like, you know exactly what's going in and out. And, you know, upstairs there's like a yearly calendar. You plan a year ahead of time. like holy crap, we're doing like a week ahead of time. Like, but yeah, it's like it's always funny to have that experience where you show up and you think, oh, someone's going to think this isn't very good. And you realize like, oh, it's actually like running just fine. It worked fine.
I think people probably think that hanging out with me and you is really cool or fun. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I mean, we went out for dinner last night and we were enjoying a conversation about the way that we hold our 90-day meetings. Yeah. Yeah. That's
yeah, I like that. You told me, I feel like I've learned a lot business-wise from you as well, where it's like, yeah, you say something like that, or you're like, oh, we have these meetings, and like everyone kind of writes. It was a cool idea. Yeah, like everyone would write down kind of what are the things they think are going to be most impactful, or what you're going to do in the next 90 days, or that year, I think it was.
Yeah, we do it basically by 90 day. Yeah,
and then you kind of compare, and it's like a lot of them are similar, but maybe combined or different. Yeah. Which to me is like, oh, what a brilliant idea. Yeah. Then because it gets everyone on the same page.
Yeah, it's really helped us actually at Weightlifting House. It's made a big difference.
Did you come up with that on your own? Did you
No, we did. And for everybody listening, I hope you're enjoying. This is a business series. So Max and I No, it's not. Don't worry. No, we got involved in this sort of local help for businesses kind of online thing. Yeah. And they got loads of different businesses, and it was meant to all be like B2B businesses. And for those who don't know, business to business rather than business to consumer. We're obviously business to consumer, like we reach consumers, but we manage to sneak in. So everyone else is doing like, you know, they manufacture rubber and they sell rubber to big companies. Right. And we're like, oh, we sell T-shirts to individuals. So it was a really, we were a total standout, very different style of company. But they were just talking about like, how do you go in the right direction? How do you do the right thing? How do you know where you're going? What should your meeting setup be? And they told us about these 90-day planning meetings, and they laid out exactly how to do it. And they would send you every 90 days a workbook to work through. We went through it. It was really good. And then we pulled out of the program, so they stopped sending us the workbooks, but we know how it is now. So we go through it. There were a bunch of different things like stop, start, continue. So we all talk about like, what should we stop doing? Right. What should we start doing? And what are we doing that's good that we should continue doing? Like all these little, you know, practices that you go through that just make you continually question, is there something we're doing right now that we should stop doing? Like it's not worth it. Maybe we tried it for a quarter and, you know, it was worth it. It was worth giving it a go because you have to experiment, but let's stop that. Right. Yeah. And we do find things. Like we stop, like there are products sometimes where we're like, let's just stop that. Yeah. It's not worth it.
It's just not, no one wants it.
Yeah, it's going to take too much. It takes too much time to do.
Don't do the Tatiana Kasharina I Lift Clean T-shirt anymore. Yeah, just that one's off the books. We're getting rid of that.
No chance. Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting because I guess to bring it back to the training camp idea, it's kind of similar to the idea of like why we do the training camps. Yeah, is like to get people, you know, because the app is a lot of people that use it are kind of on their own. They're maybe don't have a coach, and so. The goal of training camps, the goal of, I think, what I want to do, because I feel like personally I didn't do training camps. I just had a coach and I went and like that was it. And I never like trained with other people that were not part of my club. And so I like the idea that it's like a place for these people to come and kind of get that like objective exposure to coaches and be like, hey, like you're using this training program, but like, hey, maybe modify it this way, or maybe that program's a little bit long for that kind of program, so maybe make it shorter and do a strength block afterward or something. And so it is funny because it's like kind of parallels that, and that like we're trying to give people the sense of community for one, so they can come and meet other people and train with them, but also the ability to get some, you know, like more experience, eyes, and exposure to you know, fixing technique and all this, but also just like, hey, here's the direction you should be going.
Yeah, I think there are 3 sort of parts to a training camp, and I think you sort of nailed it there. There's learning to train hard and enjoying the training. Then there's the camaraderie and feeling like you're in a team and getting to make friends in the sport. And then there's being able to have eyes on from the elite coach and ask specific questions about yourself. And I used to do all of the Glenn Pendley camps, and then I eventually got to the point where I was setting them up for him. And the camaraderie was amazing.
Yeah.
We'd make amazing friends. The training was unbelievable. Yeah. And you just learned that you can train harder than you thought. But then it didn't have, I wonder if this is just how Glenn was, but it didn't have any specific feedback. Really? Other than just like, go up.
Oh, yeah. Glenn.
Like, how did it feel? Good. Let's go up.
Yeah.
I remember the first camp, I was just desperate for him to say to me, okay, Seb, I've watched you for the last 2 weeks. You shouldn't be doing 5s in the squat.
Yeah, you should be doing this other thing.
Yeah, and partly that's just inexperience. Like, I thought that he would give me the things that I needed to just really soar.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Whereas what I liked about our camp that we did last weekend was we did 2 sort of Q&As, I guess, 1 on each day. And both times made a point of just saying, like, be selfish now. Just ask a question that you need to know about yourself, because other people enjoy it. Like, and then people were starting to say, when I lift, should the bar touch my leg when I pull off the floor?
Yeah.
When I squat, should I do it like this? What should my foot angle be? And they start asking specific things about them. And that really, whether or not you get a piece of information that makes a big difference or not, it's more like you scratch the itch so that you're not worried about not knowing the answer when you go back to train on your own.
I feel like weightlifting is an interesting sport because it's seemingly so simple, but it can also be like you can do a lot of things really hard and put a lot of energy and effort into it and just kind of miss the mark, where like maybe you train too much and you're always tired. And so like, you know, even though you're tough and you're dedicated and you're athletic, it's like you just don't move forward. Or maybe you just are picking bad exercises. You're doing things weird or wrong. I remember I had been training for years, and I was doing like block cleans with Donnie one day, and I hadn't done them really before. And I was doing them in some way. I can't remember what I was doing, but he said something to me like, well, you got to, you know, in a Donnie voice, like, you got to do this with your legs. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, I'd never even thought of that.
Yeah.
But it was like some simple cue. It was like, oh, well, shit. Like, now these are actually feeling like they should.
Yeah,
like, I'm getting something out of this.
Totally.
And I feel like it's such an easy sport to be. You can try super, super hard, and it's not proportional to the progress you make.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just be kind of in that right place, that kind of Goldilocks zone of like nailing 4 or 5 kind of simple things and then it kind of compounds on itself and you make progress. And so, like you said, like, you know, it's not like Glenn's going to give you one cue or one thing that's going to fix it. But if you can get into that space where people can give you enough of the pieces to say, hey, pull back here, push this stuff a little more, do these things, you're gonna start to progress again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are sort of 2 types of people. And I will also say, and I guess this is kind of shameless plugging, but I think with the AI, it allows you to be in the middle of what I'm about to sort of say are the 2 types of people. You have the people who don't do enough of almost anything, and they need to be brought up to do more because they're just not training enough. And then you have the people who I think this is what I was. I think this is what you were, where you're doing all of everything. And so the perfect program is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You need someone to pull you back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I spent a lot of time doing, you know, I think I said in one of the Q&A sessions, like, I didn't ever really take a deload.
Yeah.
I'd never do the deload. I'd always add the extra set of squats. So I'd do the top range of everything that was given. And had I just had a program that would monitor my fatigue levels and how things felt and bring me down, or just access to these camps where you'd get a little bit more of that stuff, I think I would have made significantly more progress. And then you have these people on the other end who, if they use the AI app and they tend to be the sort of sandbaggers, it does push them to do more, and it puts you in that sort of slightly more optimal range of how much to do. And I look back at my time weightlifting and I just think, why did I do so much?
Yeah.
I just believed it was an effort game.
I think.
Also, how are you finding it using the headphones? It's like we're doing commentary.
Yeah, it's funny.
I quite like it.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
I'm very present. Yeah. Because you're so loud in my ears.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
why I like you.
Yeah. With the commentary, like you always kind of I try to not like speak over you. Like if I'm saying something and you say something, or if I cut you off, I try to. So I feel like the headset scenario kind of makes that more obvious.
Yeah.
Where you can hear it.
That's why they do. I've seen on like episodes of Joe Rogan when someone doesn't put them on, and then he's like, it just helps us not talk over each other. And I used to not understand that.
Yeah.
And now I can. It's because you can hear the other person so loudly in your ears. You instantly stop talking if someone else does.
Exactly. But back to what you were saying, like the idea that like, you're doing all of everything, and if you just kind of trim away what you don't need, that best program is in there. I feel like that for sure was the case with me. Like, do I need to do it's like Tuesday afternoon. Do I need to do 14 more maximum front squat workouts this week?
Right.
Or should maybe I do some RDLs or some pulls? And, by Friday afternoon, you're about to do a 14th squat workout, and you're like, I guess maybe that wasn't a good idea. And then next week, you just do the same thing. But it's that kind of thing where, as a young man, like you don't ever want to be the person who's kind of like, I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I guess part of it is like you look back on your career as like, man, at least I tried as hard as I could. And I got, whatever I got out of it. And maybe I should have done different things, but I guess I can, so I don't cry myself to sleep. I can sit there and say, like, wow, I tried as hard as I could. Yeah. The camps are good for, in my opinion, for really giving people that perspective.
Yeah.
Because we're way more experienced. We can sit there and not only like experience as coaches and athletes, but like the unique experience you have or I have from being at these competitions. And like you've seen, you live with Ilya Ilin for a bit, Miso. You've seen thousands of lifters train.
Yeah.
And you can, definitively look and be like, well, you can see like Karlos Nassar train before Europeans and be like, that's odd. Whatever he's doing is weird because it's really heavy. It's really close. Like, so you have that experience. You don't sit there and think to yourself, like, is there some secret thing he's doing? You kind of know, like, something's weird here. Yes, like being able to share that with people that are newer or on their own, I think is really valuable.
I like that part of the training camp is people are, we went out, everyone in the UK will know what this means. We went out to a Spoons, which for those of you in the USA, it's imagine Applebee's, but worse.
that's the best. Yeah. That's the best description of it.
I mean, it's a magical place and you can get a pint for £1.75, but if you order it before 11 a.m. But we're there, we had some food, we had a drink, and everyone just starts fielding questions at us.
Yeah.
And so many of the questions just become, what's it like watching Tian Tao?
Yeah.
Or, what did Karlos say? Or, what do you think happened with Rahmat? And they start, and then I like the fact that when the people who came to the camp, they didn't just get good training, they kind of got to have, they're one step removed from talking to the athletes almost.
Yeah.
Because we can just talk a little bit about what it's like at these competitions and that sort of thing.
I think we can bring a really unique perspective too, because we're not coming from that perspective of like, I don't even know how to describe it, like kind of being a huge fanboy of anyone. So like you can speak very openly and honestly about like watching whatever Tian Tao train or something and be like, well, I've seen this and this. And you've actually had even more of this connection where you just actually talk to these people.
Yeah.
Like to you, it's not like you don't see like Kanush Rostami as some god. Oh, he's like this weightlifting legend.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him as a strange man and you speak to him, but you talk to him, have a conversation. And to me, that's something that's so unique definitely in the US and sort of the Western world where it's not a thing to sort of interact with these people very much. No. So bringing that perspective in is very cool. Yeah. I think too with the training camp, my thing that I always thought was neat was listening to both you and Josh talk about the training camps you went to with Glenn. Yeah. And how
just shaped us.
Yeah, just so impactful. Like the fact that you guys like many times will just reference like, oh, we did this at the camper.
Yeah.
I met these 5 guys, and you're still friends with these people.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like one of the coolest elements of it that I kind of hope we can do with like these training camps where people come and they might meet each other and, form a little more of a connection, a friendship and have like a memorable experience that's kind of rooted in trying your hardest in weightlifting.
Well, we've already. It's been 4 days, and we've already got the next one.
Yeah.
Not set up, and we can't. Let's not say any dates or anything because it's
it's tentative.
We need to make sure, but we've got a gym that is double the size, so we can go. We had basically, I think we had 11 people. We want to bump up to sort of 20 to 25 maybe for the next one. We've got a great place, and we're going to try and do it sort of roughly in time for the Olympics because you're going to be back here in a couple of months anyway, and we're going to do the Olympics again. So again, we're going to do stuff for the Olympics from here. So we want to do another one then, and then I would love to come out to the USA.
That would be fun, yeah.
Because you can actually do it at your
We could
gym.
do it at the facility.
Yeah.
We could do a whole bunch because we have the office as well. We could set it all up. That would be fun. A big USA camp, I think, would be good.
Yeah. How many do you think you can fit at your gym?
We could get at least 30 people.
You think?
There,
Training,
yeah.
okay.
We could move stuff around too, and
Yeah.
get a lot in there in one time.
Yeah, I mean, if you did a training on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday sort of thing,
Yeah.
I'd definitely fly in and just come and do that. That'd be so fun.
That would be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I keep trying to push. I think the idea of having like a Weightlifting House sponsored event.
Yeah.
That is a Weightlifting House event. Like, I don't know if we would like do a commentary on a live meet.
I think that's what we would have to do.
But it would be pretty awesome. And like, I think it'd be the kind of thing that'd be fun to do if you could get like a couple of, sort of, celebrity lifters or some bigger names to come, even just for fun, but just have a great time and like kind of combine that as like maybe there's some camp that happens beforehand and then they compete there and there's a big just kind of, weightlifting fest that would be a lot of fun to do.
I mean, I do like the idea of it's almost like a premium competition option.
Right.
It's like the Weightlifting House Open, whatever, it happens once a year, but it's like Worlds.
Yeah.
Like we have a full 10-man production team. We have a big boom camera that sweeps across.
That would be wild.
We have all of the lights. We have me and you on commentary for every session.
Yeah.
So if you compete there, you're on a raised, but it's like competing at, more than a national champs. It's like competing at a world champs visually. And you've got the commentary from the elite commentators and you've got the cameras and, we do all of the 45-degree camera angles for you so you can get the images and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's almost like experiencing that. And then try and, I don't know where you do that, somewhere central in the USA, and then try and get a couple hundred people to sign up for or something.
Some kind of...
but I don't know how to run any of that, so I don't know.
Well, we could do the meet stuff. I think the production stuff would be the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, there were production teams. They charge a lot, but as long as we covered costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of one of those things. It's just a very fun thing to do and kind of like a brand activation type thing.
Yeah.
Where people just get hyped for this like weightlifting competition.
Well, you'd probably bring a bunch of Weightlifting House merch as well.
Yeah,
too,
we could
right?
do something like that.
Knee sleeves and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. I like the idea of more event-focused stuff. It feels like having been to so many of these competitions, just like the idea of like going and there's lots of people that are all doing the same thing and they're invested. There's like there's the community around you. It's kind of cool to be involved in that. So it's like doing anything remotely like that in a place like the US or even here would be super cool.
I mean, I think we'll get better and better at doing these competitions. Sorry, not the comps, the training camps. Yeah, we want to do more and more of them. I wonder what the best length is because weekend is great, but it's short. But it means no one has to take time off work.
How long were the ones with Glenn? They were like 2 weeks.
Up to 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you can do that if you're 17, 18, 20, or whatever.
Yeah, we just left uni. We didn't have jobs yet.
Yeah, I would think like a 5-day to me seems like the sort of time frame for people where you could take a week from work plus the weekends and you have enough time to do that. Plus, it's enough time to like actually go and train like normally, where you're not just kind of like pushing super hard for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I would think a 5-day camp would be a ton of fun to do.
Yeah, I mean potentially something like, you can fit in a heavy day, but then on the last day, it's almost like a competition style max.
Yeah.
And whoever beats their PRs by the most walks away with a barbell or something.
That would be really cool.
You just make it a little bit more kind of fun.
Yeah.
And maybe that's when me and you then crack out the commentary booth. because that's what we wanted to do at this.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we didn't really plan it or anything, but whilst we were going, we just thought, how fun would this be while everyone's maxing out if they could hear us on the sound system just talking shit about them.
Well, you'd have a little history too, because
Yeah.
part of the commentary I think that makes it so good is like knowing a little bit.
Yeah,
so you have like 4 or 5 days to learn about these people.
And you can start making jokes.
Yeah. Start giving them a hard time about what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
It was cool. Like all the athletes, you know, they got to know each other. You know, going out, getting some food. We went and got some, we went to Wagamama's on the last day as well. Sat outside in the sun by the canals. You did that really nice Q&A there for everyone.
Yeah. We actually met up with a couple of the guys after the one.
Yeah.
They had flown in, and we chatted with them over a drink, and you know, kind of got a good idea of like what's the typical kind of camp person like? Like, what are these people doing? Where are they coming from?
And they wanted longer, right?
Yeah, they all said longer. I was interesting because a lot of people go to different places. They'll like go to a seminar or whatever, and I think that's kind of the one thing that about a camp that makes it better than a seminar is seminars are always set up where it has to start at zero. Because like if somebody who's never lifted shows up, you've got to get them on board. So you can't get this spectrum of people where camps are kind of like everyone's already training. You don't have that sense of like, well, we got to teach a person who's never done it or who doesn't even know anything. And so you can kind of get everybody in that more training mode where it's not, you know, it's not like learning how to lift. It's like, let's, you know, work on what you're doing already. So that for sure is the element of it that I think makes it way more desirable than like these 2-day or 1-day seminars.
Yeah.
Even though those are great for certain things, they're not, you know, they don't have that same allure of like an intermediate lifter, you know, who's wanting to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, the ability range was good.
Yeah.
At this one. No one was way below anyone, really, and no one was way above anyone.
Yeah, and there was a couple guys snatching. They both made PRs, snatching around like 105-ish, 107.
I think 3 of them, I think Luke, Dean,
Luke too,
and the guy from Brussels, whose name I'm Nick, I think they were kind of around the 110-ish mark,
right around
all
there,
3 of them. Bunch of guys sort of in the 90s, 80s, 70s. Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it was a good group. It was fun. I think everyone had a good time. It's cool because, you know, they could all take that stuff back and we give them exercise ideas, like, you know, telling people
that was nice.
What they should do. The programming stuff was good too because there was some people that were like, you know, I'm doing this training, the 20 weeks of the technique focus. And I was like, okay, you should cut that down and be like, you know, 8 weeks and then do some strength and then peak. But yeah, it's like just good for us to be able to, one, have this kind of common place to talk about it where you could inform them of what to do in the app, which is good. So they have an understanding of it. They're not going to go home and write a new program. They just make some modifications, use that to adjust their training. And then they get some valuable information that's like, you know, they can do this. It's cool.
I mean, we kind of like the idea of at some point, I don't know what the sort of the critical mass is for the app, but like getting to the point where we just basically make camps free for AI users.
Yeah.
And we just say like, there's a camp here at this time, there's a camp here at this time, first 20 people to sign up, come.
Yeah.
And we just hit them up around, and it's just this nice sort of community-based way of getting everybody together and training. And, you know, you do instantly feel more like a team when you have everybody lifting and celebrating records. And I mean, a lot of records. I mean, now, who was the guy? I'm so bad with names. And he'd come down from Glasgow, I think, and he's only been lifting for 9 months.
Oh yeah,
and he is so good. I mean, like the way
he kept saying really well.
I kept saying like, stick with it. Like, you can actually be good. Like, you can get some Scottish Masters records for sure if you keep pushing.
Yeah.
He just trains on his own at the gym. I don't know his body weight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was like 67.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably no more than 73.
Yeah.
He was moved very well.
I could see him. I reckon 67, and I think he's 33. He's been training for 9 months, and he's like, he snatched 80.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
It's way over body weight in 9 months.
Yeah. What is the lifting scene in Glasgow like?
I have no idea.
There's 2 guys. One of them was there.
Yeah. I think there's probably a gym or 2, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. But he was definitely talented. He could be pretty good. And then we had the powerlifter who'd deadlifted 325 kilos before.
Yeah. He was very strong. He told me his best total was like 725.
Yeah.
And he must have been no more than 90 kilos.
Mm-hmm. And he went to a strongman competition recently and deadlifted, was it 220 for 21 reps?
Yeah, it was something insane. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if
I mean, he was dragging knuckles.
Yeah,
this guy had some long arms.
Yeah, the bar was barely above his kneecap when he made contact in the clean.
Yeah, it's sometimes below. I think he was making contact off high shin.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was cool though. I mean, it's like you said, it's a good way to build a community, and I think, it kind of goes back to everything we're talking about. The idea that like there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of ideas. People oftentimes think that the idea is what makes something valuable.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, my idea is like, let's have a
Uber but for haircuts.
Yeah, or even more ridiculous. Like, I have an idea. It's a device that you can teleport across the universe with. Right. Well, that's great. That's probably a infinite money glitch.
Yeah.
But who's going to build that? And you have to like do it. In our case, it's like, these are awesome ideas and we want to try to execute. And I think it's like, I'm glad we actually set this other one up, because it is just a matter of like, the more we execute on these, the more we do them, the more we're going places and doing these camps, the more they're going to become accessible and easy for people to get to. So I'm super keyed in on that idea of like, let's just put them together, go.
I'd like to do a Europe one.
Yeah, I want to also.
But that's one of the ones where I think we need AI users to come to us.
Yes.
Because I can organize something in the UK, you can do the USA. Yeah. We need someone to say, hey, I've got a gym in Germany.
I have a place in Germany that I think we can do it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Joanne and I have been there a few times.
Yeah,
and
that would be cool.
I think we could set it up, and that'd actually be the next thing to do.
I was thinking like somewhere hot. I was thinking like Malta.
Oh, Malta would be great, actually.
Or Greece, or I don't know, Italy, somewhere nice and hot. But I mean, no, Germany would be awesome.
Yeah.
And also Germany is so sort of central to a lot of the European countries. It would work well.
We do Germany in the summer.
Yeah, it's hot in the summer, actually.
We'll have to do Germany or maybe like fall or something where it's brisk but not brutal.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can try a Malta one.
Yeah.
Have you been to Malta?
No.
Malta's neat. I was there I was there like March of 2020, like right before everything locked down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting time, but that was a fun place. And Yasmin was still like a little teenager basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was there and lifted, but
nice. Yeah, and what would be fun would be to do one in like Bulgaria.
Oh yeah.
So go to it like when Karlos is training at these more like CrossFit style gyms.
Right.
Reach out and just be like, hey, can you put us in touch with that gym owner? Also, like, come and just train with us at the camp.
What if you did that? What if we did an AI camp, and it was like, oh, the last day we have a guest, and we like
and it's Karlos
shows
Nino.
up, Karlos and Nino,
and they don't know that it's each other.
we secretly get them both to show up.
Yeah.
What happens?
And they just get so angry.
Oh my god!
And we just we put bars in their hands. We're like, there's only one way out.
It's the Thunderdome, the Thunderdome of weightlifting. Although I don't think that would be a fair matchup. I feel like Nino's kind of
not anymore. I mean, he cleaned 221 at Europeans. I mean, was that not the most underappreciated clean that we've seen in recent times?
We'll see. I mean, the Olympics is still there, right? Maybe he does.
Yeah, maybe he does. He front squatted 260 for a double.
Wow.
Nino did.
Oh man.
I mean, that is so. Karlos can't do that. He might have the strongest legs.
So I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about Nino's technique versus Karlos's technique, and after
they're both kind of rough.
Well, so I was thinking about actually. I think Karlos. This is my more biomechanical analysis here is that Karlos is a much better technician than Nino. And Nino is just incredibly strong. And watching this 260 double,
that is ridiculous.
Really strong.
I agree.
It makes me think, because his technique is definitely less efficient. The bar is further from his body. He's mostly, mostly in his back.
Yeah, his legs are gone within the first 2 inches of the pull.
And then you look at Karlos, and the bar is super close. Yeah. He moves his knees back super well off the floor. Yeah. He shifts them under really far. He hops forward, but the only thing about Karlos, have you cut off his lower,
yes, you said this at the camp.
Blocked off his upper body, and you only saw his lower body, you'd say that knee movement is incredible. Yeah. He gets his legs back and under and extended.
He pushes with his quads.
Yeah.
He gets a big stretch in his hamstrings that pushes his knees forward, he almost gets a bit of a quad stretch.
Yeah.
And in the position where he can then extend the knees like rapidly.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way he's lifting the weights he is without having some level of efficiency because he's not the strongest guy.
He's not. He can't squat as much as Kademar, Tian Tao, Nino.
It's impressive. And it makes me think more that like...
He's got a 280 back squat.
Yeah.
Which is huge, but like Nino
I think
doubled.
He did 300.
No, he hasn't. He's tried it loads of times. He can't make it.
He tried it the day after bombing in Bogota. I remember that. Yeah, but it makes me realize like Nino is just like a way stronger athlete. Yeah, he's just like, and he's quite.
But he's
athlete,
older.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just had more time building that strength, I guess. But I mean, Karlos is absurdly muscular.
Yeah, I mean they both are. They're both just absolute. I mean, elite athletes, right? So they look ridiculous, but yeah, I find that to be one of those things where it's like, and it's a good example too. Like again with a training camp thing where you can talk about that and explain it to people and say, look at these two guys. Like, should you be mimicking their technique? What elements of these are good? What are bad? And to be able to look at that. And when I lifted, I remember my technical model was. Just watch Zlatan Vanev a million times. And I think about myself in that time. I had no idea what I was looking for. I was just watching it and I was like, what's he doing? And it's like so funny to me now. I'm like, what's he doing? Like the bar moves. Okay. Like, and I'm watching, like, should I be looking at his feet or his knees or his back or like no idea. And
well, I mean, I did that to the extent where it wasn't a tall technique. It was like, it would extend to how did I walk to the bar? Because I'd try and walk like this person or that person, or like how do I grab the bar? What do I do with my feet? It's just like try to look like that person. I couldn't even work out anything about the technique. It was just from the moment I stand up to the moment I drop the bar, and even for the few seconds afterwards, I need to mimic Ilya.
Did you
mimic Lou? Or
did you do this thing where you would just in your mind like try to embody what they were doing?
Yeah.
Like you just visualized yourself as Ilya Ilin.
Yeah. Sometimes I would imagine myself coming out onto the platform, as Ilya going for the 242 or something like that. And I would just imagine it. And then I'd go over and over again in my head. And then I'd just get up and do it. And then you'd miss and you'd be like, well.
And then you watch them. Like I remember watching videos of like old Ironman videos, like Alexei Petrov would be warming up at Europeans 99 or something. And he'd take like a 110 snatch and it looked like just an empty bar.
Yeah.
And I would be like, why is it so light? Like when I snatch 110, it feels so, I know it's harder than that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would do that. I would watch, when John North left Glenn and he opened up his gym in Carolina, I think, North Carolina, Charlotte. I don't know where it was, somewhere like that. And, he started a little team, and some of the guys were snatching like 90, some of them maybe 130. It's kind of in that range. So I was like right in there. And I remember watching him showing someone how to snatch 110 and just watching him do it and just thinking, that's how 110 can move. Yeah. If you just grab it and pull it.
Yeah.
So like that's what I just need to do. I just need to move it like he does it. And it, you can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Our muscles are made of something different.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I was going to say about the training camp stuff. It's funny you said you didn't really do any camps because you did do the whole pack up and move to another place and move in with a bunch of guys and just train every day.
Yeah.
Which is almost like a camp that never ends.
Yeah.
Was the first one just when you flew out to California and it was you, Donnie, Abajev, Martine,
James Moser.
It
was when I first got there.
What a motley crew.
When I first got there, it was me, James, Martine, and Nikolai.
Yeah.
And then Donnie came like a few months later.
What about...
after James ran away.
Who was the young... Krychev, was he there?
Yeah. Chris Krychev.
Meant Alex Krychev.
Well, Alex Krychev, his son Chris would come.
Oh.
Chris Krychev, maybe one of the most powerful athletes I've ever seen.
Really?
He would power clean 160, 170 on straight legs in high school.
Yeah.
And he was a thrower, and he back squat 280, super fast.
Nice.
Also the sweatiest human being I've ever seen in my life. He would just be 2 warm-ups in, his shirt was just, it went from gray to black. It was just wet, and he was always sweating. Strange story, but Dave would buy groceries. Like we'd go and get groceries, and they'd stock the house up, and he'd go to Costco, so they'd make maybe like a 2-pack of Nutella. And
would Dave just buy food for everyone?
Yeah, they like the whole. He would like, I think it was like the American Weightlifting at the time.
Yeah.
So like that was the organization. But
Yeah.
yeah, he would go and just buy groceries,
Yeah.
and it was pretty awesome. I mean, to be in a training camp with us.
Yeah, shout out to Dave Spitz for buying the Nutella.
Yeah, but so he came in one day, and Chris had just done his training, and like he's hunched over the counter, and these are like those. So like the Nutella comes in like multiple sizes, but then
Like jars.
Yeah, like a jar. And if you know, and any of the American audience is going to know, like Costco always has a larger size or like multiple pack. Costco had these larger size Nutella things that had a bigger opening.
Oh yeah.
And he had eaten the entire thing with his fingers. He had just stood over because he had just finished training or probably done like one squat workout.
Did he grow up in Bulgaria or the USA?
No, he grew up in the US.
Okay.
But he just, and like the whole thing was gone with his hand. Dave was like, Dave was so upset. Like, Chris, what is this? Like his fingers were like in the jar, like, and he'd eaten the entire thing.
That's so epic.
He was just ravenously hungry. Yeah. That was one of those times you just think back, like, what is this strange memory I have just thinking about that. It was so weird.
One of the things about these camps, like your camp was just guys, and my camps were 90% just guys as well. You get some women would come, but it was always the food that was so weird. Yeah. Like, it was something that like a bunch of women wouldn't let happen.
Wasn't Glenn pretty big on hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah, he did the eggs, but the thing was he put a stew on Monday morning, and he wouldn't turn it off until Sunday night. So it was just perma on.
Just botulism growing in there.
It was so warm at all times, and it would start smelling like 3-4 days in. And also it was a never-ending stew. You would just add potatoes into it as the potatoes started disappearing, or like chuck another bit of meat in, and like add some seasoning. And he was like, I always like, one of his things was, the good thing about stew is if you never write down the ingredients, it's always a bit different, because you always put in slightly different quantities of everything. And he loved that about stew.
Donnie Schenkel used to say that, a woman today doesn't know how to make a good stew. And like that was his, like, he would just say
that was his critique.
He would
of like
say that
modern
line
society.
like randomly.
Yeah.
He'd just walk up to you and say it, and you'd be like, what? Like,
yeah.
what? Donnie, we're at a gas station. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, and also like that doesn't sound like a big deal.
No, yeah, it's like,
so like I wouldn't worry about it. Like things look pretty good if that's your issue.
He was genuinely concerned with that.
Right. Well, I remember Charlotte, my now wife, made me on our. It could have been a birthday. It could have been an anniversary. She made me the jambalaya from Donnie's website. He put up the ingredients of how to make the Donnie Schenkel jambalaya.
That's a dedicated girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's like she went and had to look it up and knew this was important, a big thing in your life, and was like, I'll make this stew. Yeah. How did it taste?
I don't think it was great. No, I don't. I remember being disappointed with it.
No fault of hers.
No, it wasn't hers. It was
a Donnie recipe.
Yeah. But it's funny because back then I remember like I would tell her, just so you know, you're second to weightlifting. And she knew
would say that to her?
Yeah. Not in like a horrible way, but just like when we first started dating, I was just like, weightlifting is the biggest thing in my life, and if I have to pick, I will pick weightlifting. She totally understood, and it took years and years. Yeah. And now like today is our 10th anniversary, like since we started dating, and we obviously now it's totally different.
Yeah.
But like she understood how I was a different person.
Yeah.
I think you were as well when you were like in the thick of it, but like I am not the same as how I was 8 years ago when I was like heavily into weightlifting, and it was my 100% goal that I was going to be a champion. I wasn't like I am now.
Yeah. I broke up with my girlfriend to go train.
Yeah.
At in California.
Just for one day.
No. Yeah, that was it. I was like, I got a squat and you're in the way.
Yeah, so we're over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting. You definitely don't have to do that for those listening.
No,
I don't think that's necessary, especially not with a Weightlifting AI camp.
No.
You're welcome to come. You can be there for a short time.
Yeah,
and
you can
enjoy
maintain
it.
your relationships.
Yeah, I think that's okay. But yeah, I think it's funny to think about how dedicated and driven, and you just fix your mind on it, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
It's funny because you know, looking back now, I can kind of laugh and almost cringe is not the right word, but recognize the humor in the whole thing of how far away I was from being good. You know, and the goals that I had were not possible.
Yeah.
But also it is just who I am. Like, I want to succeed at stuff.
Yeah.
And also it made me, it dawned on me that all these people came to a training camp, and if I'd have turned up when I was 22, I would have outlifted them.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I was terrible.
Yeah.
And then you go to a camp and you're like, I could have maybe outlifted everyone in everything.
Yeah.
It's so different.
I had the experience.
You realize you're better than you are.
Yeah.
You're better than you think you are, but you're also worse than you realize.
You know, I once had an experience, two things. You once told me that something that I thought was funny, because you were like, oh yeah, I just thought that when I lifted, I'm going to do I'm going to do 180, 220.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Like, you just decided on the numbers you were going to do.
Yeah, I did, yeah. 400.
I'm going to do 400
yeah.
at 85. That seems like that's what I'll do.
I thought 110.
Yeah.
105, I was thinking.
Yeah, which is believable. That's possible. 100 at 105. Lee Wenhua, what?
Yeah.
But I also had an experience when I was a little older. I was front squatting probably at a nationals, and I front squatted 250 or something in the training hall. And Jared Fleming came over and he said, oh, strong, man. And I said, no, it's not that good. He's like, no, you're strong. You can say that. And it was this kind of moment of you don't have to be so humble that it's almost arrogant, where you're like, no, it's not very good. Because obviously it was good. It was probably better than most people could do.
Yeah.
And it was I was so in that space, growing up in it, that
300 is a strong front squat.
Yeah, 300's good.
Yeah.
That's when you can say you're strong. But anything under a 180 snatch is no one cares.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, watching videos from back then, this Ironman videos of let's say you see whatever, Yoda Yotov cleaning, power cleans 182. And you're like, oh, that's pretty good. It's 182.
Yeah.
You think about that, a 182 power clean at as a 85 is insane. That's so strong.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it's okay. Maybe one day. I'll definitely do that. No, never happened. Yeah.
But that's the mindset that can lead you to what we were talking about at the start, which is you do too much of everything.
Yeah.
And you have to be pulled back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important to have. It's so important to have a community, because when you actually start training with other people, it gives you perspective as to where you're at.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Your 100 snatch is exactly where it should be. It's better than some. It's not as good as others.
Yeah.
But you can relate to everyone else doing it, right? And then also having the objective sort of perspective from more experienced people that can tell you the things that will matter to you, appreciate what you're doing now, consider the people around you as part of your team, build this community. You're going to, you might connect with these people 10 years down the road still, because you're all fans of this.
Yeah.
And then also being able to get that perspective to say, hey, don't do so much of this. Don't do none of this. Spend the time learning these things, and, actually put together the pieces in a way that's going to be meaningful for you in a few years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm already very excited to do the next, and sort of squeezing it in around the Olympics.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously we've got a bunch of extremely cool AI stuff that's going to be released in the coming months, which, you have just spent so much time working on.
Yeah.
You and the whole team.
Yeah.
I think people would be shocked at how big the AI team is right now.
Yeah.
And all the work that's going into it.
Yeah, we have
the fruits of the labor have not been released or seen yet.
Yeah,
it's a level up, which every time we talk about it, it's kind of just staggers me as to what the capabilities of it are going to be.
Yeah, we have.
You're riding the wave of all of the cutting edge Silicon Valley technology.
I know, it's I feel like we're in this cool spot because we have such a capable team. We have 3 full stack developers. We have my business partner now, my new business partner, Kush, who's a PhD in machine learning, and then 3 other machine learning engineers on the team.
Yeah.
So we have a very, very big team that's incredible, like 100x capable of what we were before. So I'm like super excited about it. I'm also very like, when's it?
Yeah, when's it coming?
Every day I ask, when are we done? What's the next thing done?
When's the big launch coming?
Yeah, it's gonna be mind blowing what we do. I'm very excited for it.
Do you feel like you have learned a tremendous amount since working with guys who are like very smart?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I realize in a lot of ways.
I'm always amazed at how much you know about stuff. I will say that.
Yeah. My perspective is always like, if I don't know what someone's talking about, is to look it up right away. So like if somebody says something and I don't know what it is, I'll just Google it or ask or like, okay, what is that? And I found that the more often I'm able to say, I don't know what that is, and ask someone, the faster I learn stuff. Yeah. And I always try to put myself in the perspective that like, I want to be able to speak about whatever is going on or whatever I'm doing, at least to the level that like is just above like surface. Like I don't need to know exactly like what, the formulas exist in each, piece of a neural net, but I need to know like how the process works so I can explain it to somebody. And so, yeah, it's like being around people that know all of this stuff and are also really kind with taking time to explain things to me is super.
I mean, you are their employer, so.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's cool to me because it's like I get to like sort of ask questions and do things. And I realize sometimes I just have way too many ideas and I say too much stuff and I'm always doing this and I need to like tone it down because it's like, you say it like, hey, what if we do this? What could we do that? And then they'll be like, okay, well, let's try and figure out how to do it. And I'm like, well, hold on, it's just an idea.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to actually build that piece. Like, maybe that's not right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an awesome, like I would say, last year, almost a year. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's been it's been a tough year.
It has
in many ways for you.
Yeah.
Trying to build it because there's been.
We've been set back a year basically.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Well, yes, but that makes it sound like you're just getting back to where you were a year ago, whereas really what it is
right.
You got set back, and then for the last year, the amount of things that have been done for the app is extraordinary, and no one's yet seen it.
Yeah, it's all sitting in this like behind. We haven't released anything new since the last few updates.
It feels to me like when we first launched it, we were talking about how much of a step up it was ahead of normal programming because of the fact that it generated something unique to you, and then it changed based on what you were saying, what you were doing, and what you told it, how it felt. The new things feel like a bigger step above that than what that was above the normal programming.
Yeah, very much.
Which is just crazy exciting. I think people are going to be like delighted by it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the goal is to produce something that's meaningfully valuable to a lot of people, where it's not just like, upgrades and this and that. Like the constant iteration is my intent. Like I love that we have basically this is a vehicle for us to continue growing where, every time some, OpenAI releases a new model, we can use it because we're leveraging some of their technology already. Every time Meta puts out some kind of new computer vision component, we have access to these things. Like we've positioned ourselves with a vehicle now that's going to kind of bring weightlifting along with whatever happens with this like AI space. And hopefully it's, it's a product that not only is that, but just is very fun to use.
Right.
And it's not just like slapping something together and saying, hey, have fun with this. We want to really be meaningful in this.
It's funny because people used to, when we first launched it, people had said, oh, you're just saying it's AI. Just because it sounds good. It's like, trust me.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
What it is now is unbelievable. It's very cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of weird. I feel like we should wrap up, but I also don't want to.
Yeah. It's a good conversation.
But yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should wrap this up.
Well, you've got an anniversary, don't you?
Yeah, 10-year
Some
anniversary. I've got. I don't need to leave right away, but we certainly don't have time to do another podcast right now. But we'll do something tomorrow probably. We have probably. Do you think you've spoke? I'd love to know. Have I had you in my headphones more than I've had Josh in my headphones? Josh via podcast, you via commentary and podcast.
Maybe by the number of hours.
Yes.
Just because we've been. I mean, how many?
I know.
How many competitions? The only ones I haven't been to were like Asians and Qatar.
We did together Europeans 22. Sorry, 20. Yeah, 22. Bahrain, Worlds, Europeans in Armenia.
Yeah.
And then was the next one Saudi?
And Saudi.
And then
Bulgaria.
Europeans again, and then World Cup. So 7. So 140 sessions, 280 hours, which is a fair bit.
That's quite
plus
a bit.
Another 40 hours of podcast or 50 hours or something.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah, it is interesting because, everyone always, not everyone, people, there's the idea that, you become more like the people you spend time with. And that's why I think part of the reason why I value podcasts so highly, because you can choose the people that you hang out with and the way that they think and the ideas they have impact you. And you can spend way more time with a good podcaster than you do with your friends, because you don't get to see your friends a whole lot, but you can listen to a podcaster every day. But you have to be in my top 5.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny actually you say that. I also feel like
it's good finding the right people.
Yeah, I feel
important.
like I don't tire from talking to you.
No.
Like I don't ever feel like, oh god, like Seb's just talking about fucking weightlifting again. Like, oh my god. Like we know, okay, great, like, Ilya lifted some weight, who cares? Like
we can have the same conversations over
100 times.
It's like, we'll be like, but that 295 front squat.
Yeah.
What could he have done?
Yeah. I find it hilarious that too, like I don't feel like you and I were talking last night and I was saying something. I feel like this is a compliment to you in that I was commenting about an Instagram account. That I was like, this guy puts out some really good stuff. And I was like, I said to you, I was like, I'm surprised because I feel like this guy, I'm like, who is this guy? He seems like he knows more about these old lifters than I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he knows things that like, I'm like surprised by. And I was,
you were like, if this, I should know this person.
I should know
if they exist.
Who the fuck is this guy? Like, because this guy is like, has a depth of knowledge that like I can appreciate very much because like I know this. And then you're like, oh yeah, that guy is just kind of ripping off my old videos.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, it was like so funny when you said it. It was so fitting. It was like, well, of course it's you. Of course it's Seb. Because like, there's no one else like that. There is no other person who's going to know the obscure.
It made some sense.
The results of Stefan Botev's lifts as a junior lifter. And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, of course it's Seb. Like, this sounds like it would be Seb. Like that, whatever, the youngest man under 20 years old to lift, 250 kilos or something. And I'm like, it never even crossed my mind that it was your stuff. That has just been like, redone.
It's just years later.
It's too funny.
That is funny. Yeah, that was a nice meal. I'm going back there tonight.
Yeah.
I just sort of scoped it out for the anniversary with you, and then I'm like,
this is good enough this time.
Yeah. Then I'll go back again. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. We'll be back. We want some more cool podcasts, more topics we want to go through, but we'll try and do more training camps for you AI lot, UK, USA, and then if people are interested in something in Europe, let us know.
Yeah, and get in if you're in the Discord.
Just post
make a post and say where you're at, because I think that'll help us figure out maybe the next couple of locations.
Yeah. The Discord is probably close to half of the AI users are now in there.
Yeah, it's good. It's growing.
It needs to keep growing, but like that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's a bigger like online weightlifting chat group.
Yeah, probably not.
I thought.
It's huge.
So that's great. Anyway, okay, let's wrap this bad boy up. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll speak to you on the next one.